Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tereza and in today's video I'll take you with me on my flight from Prague to Frankfurt to Orlando with Discover Airlines in business class. This is the fit check of the day and we are off on my first flight. So as you may know, Discover Airlines, formerly known as Eurowings Discover, is a relatively new airline founded in 2021 in Germany. And it is focusing mostly on long-haul flights with the promise of comfort and efficiency, meaning mostly financial efficiency. But whether it does deliver that or not, we shall be the judge today. So I started with a super short flight from Prague to Frankfurt in Lufthansa business class. There is not really that many advantages to business class other than the fact that you get a small meal like I did here, the fact that you do get an empty seat next to you, and my favorite, the fact that you can check in your checked baggage as late as 30 minutes before departure, which is a lifesaver if you're a latecomer like me. In the end, we saw these beautiful views of Frankfurt and in less than an hour we were already landing in Frankfurt. And before I knew it, we are in Frankfurt, Germany, which is one of the biggest and busiest airports in Europe. Here I had about 1.5 hours layover, so I took the opportunity to get some steps in before my long flight and discover the airport a little bit, since it's been a while that I've been here. And I found, for example, these really nice boarding lanes, which are supposed to divide all the people waiting for boarding into their respective boarding group, which I thought was super neat and super smart idea how to make the boarding process a little bit more organized. But it was already time for me to check out the business lounge because I actually thought that I have a lot of time, but I didn't. So I got kicked out of the first lounge. The lady said that I would definitely not make my flight if I chill there. So I got going to my gate, which was in Terminal C, and I kept going and going and going and going and going and going until I started seeing people on bikes, at which point I thought I was maybe overheating, so I, took my jacket off. But anyway, the Frankfurt Airport is huge, so make sure that you do give yourself enough time and get as close as your gate as possible before you go to the lounge, because you may very well underestimate how far you actually are. And as I was walking trying to find my terminal, I actually ended up in another check-in area, which made me panic a little bit because I thought that I may have missed the turn somewhere or something, but this was just the way to get there. There was actually an additional security check, which did have its own business class lane, but I gotta admit the service here and the personnel were really not good. So with about 20 minutes left, I headed to check out the business class lounge at the gate C14, C15. There's actually supposed to be one of those gate lounges at my gate, which was C16 as well, but for some reason it was out of order. This lounge had very nice views, a lot of natural light, which I appreciate. It was relatively small and almost empty, which is great. There was actually a lot of different seating options, tables, lying kind of chairs, lounges, everything. Bathrooms were very clean. It was very peaceful, no loud music, no loud announcements, super chill, nice environment. I managed to get some Frankfurter in my system. The food was very good. There was a decent amount of options for a small lounge. And it was time to get some last refreshments, finish charging my phone, freshen up, and get going to my gate. And I have to say the boarding here was super messy and chaotic. They were really not doing a very good job at organizing everyone. Everyone just started rushing. None of those lines that I showed you previously were used. But thankfully the business class had its own entrance and we were at the gate. No buses were used. And here you can see a snapshot of the cabin as I'm walking through. There are actually two different seating configurations for the Discover Airlines business class on the Airbus A330-300. The one that you can see here is the configuration number 2, which has 30 seats in business, all in the 222 configuration. And the other configuration, number 1, has 27 seats in 121 or 221 configuration. But it was now time to get comfortable in my seat 5A, which was the last row of the business class on the left side, and to play around with the seat a little bit. So you do get a pillow and a blanket, and I gotta say when I first sat down I was surprised how uncomfortable the seat was. There was this huge gap in the back, and it took me a while to find a comfortable position. Thankfully, with the help of a pillow I was able to make myself comfortable, or at least comfortable enough to practice my German.
Sparkling wine, Alkohol oder Wasser?
Wasser und Sparkling Wine.
Yep, The saddest part is that I actually do have a B1 certificate, so this is even more embarrassing. Anyhow, the service was very good, very quick on the whole flight, and I got actually super lucky and I was seated by myself for the entire flight, which was amazing. Otherwise, in this configuration, it can be a little bit tricky sitting by the window because you do have to step across someone else to get out of your seat, which, if they're lying down, can be a little bit problematic, but again, I got super lucky, so no complaints here. Each seat gets its own little storage compartment. You can also put things in this shoe compartment down below the footrest, and you also get a coat hanger, a glasses hanger, hello, and 2 USB ports. Sadly, those are oftentimes not working. On the flight bag, only 1 out of the 4 was working, so don't rely on it too much. And you also get the headlamp right there, as well as the above the headlamps, which are actually very nice and very directed, so no one else's light will disturb you, which is a great plus. We also got those little bit old school seat belts, which were very difficult to close with one hand, so this is purely for entertainment purposes. I know that those are just details, but we like details over here. Anyway, this is the view of the cabin from my seat. I was actually originally supposed to sit in the first row on the right side, but that seat gives me claustrophobia. I like to have some space and field of vision in front of me, so I changed it last minute. And now I just chilled and got ready for departure. Behind the partition wall, or in emergency exit row 30, you are required to store your hand luggage in the overhead. Let's quickly have a look at the amenities kit that you get. Fun fact, on the way back this was all in a metal box, so there's, I don't know how that works, but there is a toothbrush, a little hand cream, tiny little toothpaste, earplugs, very good, those very fashionable socks. I did not use them, surprise surprise. Ear covers, why not? Eye mask, and that's it.
Together with Lufthansa, your pilot, on this way.
I very much like the blanket and pillows that we got. I like that the blanket was like a real blanket, not just like a towel. And the pillow was also very nice. I ended up putting one behind my bag. It was time for the last phone call, stowing my handbag, and we are on our way. And not only was the weather great today, but I also had not 1, not 2, but 3 windows all to myself. It was now time to check out the entertainment options on this flight. At first I failed this IQ test. I thought it was a touchscreen and I just didn't realize it could have a remote, but in the end I found it hidden in the middle compartment, and even though it was one of those older models with a cable, it was not like terribly hard to use. I took a little bit of getting used to, but it was pretty sensitive and pretty neat to use actually with this little joystick. You had multiple different flight overview options, which was pretty nice and what I kept on most of the time, but you also got a pretty good selection of movies, about 150 different titles, also some TV shows, and I was surprised to even see some video podcasts, which was a first, like Diary of the CEO, hello. There were also some music options as well as kids movies, so pretty good selection. And there were also options of having internet on the flight, which I didn't try because sadly it didn't come included with the business class, which was a shame. And not long after takeoff it was time for the meal service. I found the selection of the food great. There was 1 meat, 1 fish and 1 vegetarian option, as well as appetizers, salads, desserts, etc. And very extensive drinks menu, including cocktails and long drinks. And margarita on a flight, hello, I immediately had to order that. But there was also a lot of soft drinks, and I found out that the margarita actually came in like a pre-mixed package, which was super cool, and for the fact that this drink came from a plastic bag, it was actually amazing. So much, thank you. Like, I enjoyed this so much. It hit the spot for sure. And we also got the famous ginger shots, which hit the spot too, and these were the views while I was waiting for my meal. We got a hot towel and I was happy to get all of my options, which was both of the fish dishes, the appetizer and the main meal. The setup of the desk was not the smoothest, I gotta say. Actually, setting it up was fine, but then setting it down was the painful part, and first time I did it, I really messed up my hand. It just may be my own skill issue, but this is the fish appetizer that I got, which was great. I really enjoyed this food, and this is the second course. Overall, the food was really amazing. It may not look as appetizing, but it was great. And it was time to chill a little bit, watch some 90 Day Fiancé commentary, get another sneaky ginger shot in. Hard to open, but definitely worth it. This is how the table is stored, by the way. It is supposed to kind of just slide in like this, but the first time that I tried, it didn't. And also it's very heavy, so watch your hand. I got hurt first time. This is a quick lavatory tour, really nothing special, just the normal lavatories cabin. The only thing that it had extra was the air freshener and some of these hand creams and stuff like that, which were not in the economy cabin. Other than that, you know, nothing special, but nice long mirror. And it was finally time to get a couple of hours of sleep on the flat lay bed and to also test it out. At this point there was a little bit less than 8 hours of flying left, and here I played around with the seat. Unfortunately, it did take a lot of playing around to find a comfortable position, and the flat lay bed was just not comfortable. I'm sorry, it is what it is. So I ended up settling for this reclined chair position and got a couple of hours of sleep. I woke up to those stunning views, and it was already time for the in-between meals snack, which was pastel de nata, my absolutely favorite thing in the world to eat. So I was very happy with that. And not long after, it was time for the, I guess, dinner, whatever it is at that point. This meal was definitely less good than the first meal, but thankfully I was not hungry at all because the first meal was very good and very big, so I didn't mind too much. And before I knew it, we are above Florida and about to land. So, would I recommend Discover Airlines? Yes, I would, but you do have to manage your expectations. This was by no means a luxurious experience. Not to sound ungrateful, but I am trying to be honest, and main problem for me was the bed. It was just not comfortable, which is sadly a pretty big con for a long-haul flight especially. But anyway, if you can get a better airline for a comparable price, I would recommend doing that. But if Discover Airlines is kind of the only option in your budget, you will not regret it. You will have a great experience with great food, great service, and overall, I do recommend it. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, and let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!